Hello and welcome to Malarkey. This is my first island, and it's also my more neglected island these days, so we'll see. I haven't really taken notice of what state it's in before I started filming this, so we'll have to see. We'll roll with it. It might be kind of messy. I haven't used it much. I have been kind of going back and forth a little bit. So we'll start here at my house, which is where the game starts you when you start up the day. And let's open the map so that you can have a look at what my island looks like and who my villagers are. Oh, look, Red is here today. Wait, wasn't Red here yesterday? Weird. Okay. So we have me, Tracy. Then we have my second player, which is Scott. Scott doesn't actually play this game, but I started a profile for him, and now he owns a school. We have Raymond, Judy, Zucker, Zell, Felicity, Marina, Audie, Dom, Octavian, and Deirdre. And it's actually Deirdre's birthday today. And then we have, I'll just show you because I know that some of my viewers are not Animal Crossing players, so the resident services is right here in the center for me. You can't change where resident services is. And then here is my Nook's Cranny, which is the general store. And then I have my Able Sisters, which is the clothing store. My museum is way up at the back left-hand corner. That would be the back west corner. And then we have the campsite is down on the beach here, and my airport is right in front of resident services. So this is my house, and I'm not going to show the inside of my house. It's actually not all that nice. But this is my yard. I also really haven't spent a whole lot of time decorating my yard or anything. I just keep some spare trees here and flowers and shrubs and stuff. But I did put a little collection of nice beach furniture right here in front of my house. My house used to be over towards where I'm looking right now, and it had this stuff in front of it. So I just kind of moved it all over here when I moved my house over. So I'm actually going to take a run over to the airport because I think that might be a better starting point for us. So let me just head over to here. So this is my airport, and this is, I guess, what you see when you get off the plane coming to visit me here on Malarkey. And I made this area into a bit of an airport lounge waiting area type of thing. So we've got like airport waiting chairs here and a little traveling suitcase and just a couple of little decorations. I made a lot of waterfalls here and put some decorations on the background, mostly because I wanted this to have a bit more of a cozy feeling and not be quite so open. My resident services is right behind this cliff, this two-tiered cliff. And I didn't want you to be able to see resident services from the airport. I wanted it to feel a little bit more closed in and like you have to kind of explore your way to resident services. We have a sign here that says that there's fishing down this way. And so along this beach, my plan was to have a little fishing area, but I actually, this used to be a little beach area with flamingos and beach chairs and stuff, but I moved it all and I haven't created that fishing area quite yet. Then there's another sign that says that the shopping district is over here, so that's the little symbol that means Nook's Cranny is over this way. Once you come over this diagonal bridge, and you do get a little glimpse of resident services up there to the left, but once you come over this diagonal bridge, and there's a sign here that says that the airport is off that way, we find ourselves in this little city park. And there we go, so that you can see what's up behind there. And then we have our Able Sisters. So of course, right across this diagonal bridge is my house. So that's where we just came from. We've got a little wonton cart there. And then this is Able Sisters, which is our clothing store. There's just a couple of little random decorations here that might not always be there. This is from another iteration of Malarkey. This is my little book nook, which is a little corner that you can sit and read some books. It's a little bit cozier now because it used to be that the museum was up above and behind it, but now there's a store and there's just a little bit more room for some decoration and trees behind it. I really like how that looks. That's a leftover from another time and era on Malarkey. Then we have Nook's Cranny up here and a little bit of just kind of decorations on the island here. I put some balloons and some trees and fences and stuff up behind. And then this again is just what's behind the book nook. Then if you follow this pathway back here, you come to this little look-off area. And my thought was that this could be a little place where if you actually take out your camera here, it's a pretty nice place to take some pictures. You kind of have to zoom in a little bit and then go up and go over. I think it just looks kind of pretty here. Depending on where you stand, you can get better pictures. So you can just kind of get me out of the picture there. And I think that looks pretty nice. I can't wait to have nicer windmills than those wind turbines. I'd rather have old-fashioned windmills, but this is the only kind of windmill-y type of thing that we have in the game right now. But there's an update coming. My date says that this is May 4th, but it's actually October 21st. I keep this island a couple of months behind, several months behind. And so we could go in there and do some shopping if we wanted to. Oh, look, Dom is here. Hello, Dom. Yeah, I'm totally bringing it. You're leaving that sector over there for me. Okay. So this is my resident services. We have Judy and Zell doing some exercises here. I have these little, like, hopping places here that I haven't really decorated them. I haven't quite decided what to do. You can't really see them. It's part of, like, I have this decor here, like this apple tree there, is because when you're over here on this bridge, I didn't want you to just see resident services unobstructed. I wanted to be kind of peeking out. So I put that tree there for that sight line. Oh, look, Zell is looking at the balloon go by. So this is my resident services, and I'm just going to kind of come around here. So this is where you end up if you go the other way from the airport, and this is again that beach that isn't really developed. Here we have Marina's house, and I have it all decorated in pinks because she's a pink octopus. And she has a pink cotton candy machine in front of her house. A lot of this section of my island is left over from a previous iteration of Malarkey. So these two cliffs here I decorated long ago. This is Felicity's house, which I also decorated long ago. And I haven't really done anything different with Felicity's house since I originally decided to decorate it with the orange flowers and the orange tree. She's a redhead, and so she likes orange in my mind. I'm trying to get my rocks to go different places, so it's here right now. I'll have to move that rock. I'll have to break that rock a little bit later. So then we have this Zen Bridge here that leads you over to my campground. And I wanted my campground to have a real glamping feel. So there's no camper here right now, but sometimes resident or island villagers, potential villagers, will randomly show up here. There would be a tent and you could go in and talk to them, and you could invite them to stay on your island if you wanted to. Oh, there's a message bottle. I'll look at that later. But I wanted this to have a real luxurious glamping kind of feel to it. So I put all of these design codes that are blankets all over, and they're kind of all overlapping. You just have to be careful with the tassels when you overlap them, because obviously the tassel has sand underneath of it, so I couldn't put tassel on this one, for example. So this is my camping area, my campsite, and then there's this little bench you could sit on and look out at the beach. And then this area is all new, and I didn't put anything over there behind Felicity's house. There's a little blank spot there across the river, and I might put some decorations there at some point, but I just haven't done it yet. I haven't decided what to do with my peninsula yet, but I think I'll keep this lighthouse on it. I might put the lighthouse and a little seating area or a little cafe or something. Another little seating area. This island is full of parks. It used to be my town island, but it's not very town feeling anymore. It's just another park-like atmosphere island. So this is another thing that remains from the early days of Malarkey. This is my rainbow garden, my rainbow flower garden. In other iterations, I had a blank gap here for my green mums, but I finally got green mums. So my rainbow garden is complete, and I love it. I love running through it like this. Such vivid, beautiful colors. And I just put a little decoy duck here to make it look like it's a real duck. And then over here, I still have my little juice bar. This again is one of the very first things I ever put on this island when I just started getting materials and decorating my island. So this is here. And then if you go this way, you just meet up with the campground again. And so if you keep on going past the peninsula. So moving along this way, we have this staircase that leads up to what's eventually going to be my island, or not my island, my museum. And so we have this sign here that says that the museum is off that away. And I just put some museum-y type of decorations here. And I kept the trees in this area to a combination of bamboo and coconut trees. And of course, when you put a coconut tree, you just have to put a little patch of sand in order to be able to plant those. And I just wanted this to have a bit of a wild, overgrown look, so I allowed these weeds to grow here. Every once in a while, I just kind of pick one out so that it doesn't get too overgrown with weeds. And I find that green mums are the wildest looking flowers, so I tend to use those in places where I also want weeds to grow. And this is a little archaeological dig site that kind of goes along with the museum. And again, I just like to pick these weeds every once in a while so that they'll regrow in smaller format. And I just buried a few things down there to make it look like there's some fossils. I put some termite mounds and skulls and different unearthed fossils, unearthed and assessed fossils. Put some hammers and shovels and stuff down there, and a little utility looking bookshelf as well. And then like you can't really go over there, but beyond this sphinx there's just more bamboo and coconut trees and some decorations over there. When the fountain is spurting, it looks a little bit like this guy is peeing into a vase. It kind of looks like that now, actually. So that's my David statue. And once you pass through this area here, you're formally into the museum area. So I just have this large island in the middle of this lake-like area here that just has some museum-related decor, like artwork and statues and whatnot. More coconut and bamboo trees. I put some gold roses around here. And I haven't really, I just did this yesterday actually. I hadn't really decorated the entrance of my museum other than to just put a couple of benches here, but that might be all that I really do. I have these large stone artwork that you get from, who is it? From Gulliver. And so I like having those up by the museum, especially where the museum doesn't have anything behind it. Typically, I like to put a cliff behind my museum and some trees and stuff to make it look nestled in. But because of where it's at on my island, there's no space. As you can see, it's just tucked way back here, and there's no space behind it for anything. There's just ocean and sky behind it. I'm not a huge fan of the museum. This museum has more stuff than the museum on the island that I use the most because this island is older, so I've had a chance to catch more items. But I'm really not a completionist, and so I don't have my completed island at this point, or my completed museum, that is. And I very well may never finish my museum, and I'm okay with that. It's plentiful. It's very fun to go through it, and it's enjoyable to look at everything that is in the museum, but I don't I don't feel a need to go specifically looking for the things I'm missing at this point. I might change that someday. This is a little throwback to a little garden center that I used to have on my island. I just moved all the things over here and changed it around a little bit. And then right next to it is a little pottery place. I'm using this smoker as a kiln. A little pottery area. These circles were already on the ground from another thing that I used to have in this space, and I just left them because they looked pretty nice there. I haven't done my chores here for a while, so I'm just digging up fossils as I go. And this flower here is in the wrong place. It must have rained yesterday. I did log in to film this and it was raining, so I just moved forward a day. And so that's why there's lots of extra flowers everywhere. So this is the photo of a villager, Whitney, who used to be here. But she's gone now, so I put this little tribute to her because she's cute. I have another tribute to Anka, who also gave me her photo and then moved out of the island, and I'll show you hers when I get to it. But just to stay on this level, I'll show you what's up there a little bit later, but to show you what's on this level, we have Octavian's house here, and Octavian is a octopus. He's a really interesting character. He is obsessed with space and aliens. And so here he is in his house. His house has this flying saucer, and every once in a while a little alien comes down out of it and displays. It's pretty cool. Is it gonna do it while I'm here? And of course, all of these items are very special items that you have to get from Celeste. There's a story here. I accidentally gave Octavian a really ugly brown tent for Christmas, and he displayed it in his house and got rid of this flying saucer. Look at how cool it is. And so for a long time, every one time you went into his house, he had this disgusting tent in place of this, and it totally threw off the theme. So I spent so much time stalking Celeste, like playing every single night or time traveling so that I could seem like I'm playing in the night, so that I could get the recipe for this spaceship, so that I could then craft it and give it to him and have him take that ugly tent out of here. Oh my goodness, it took me months to get rid of that tent, just stalking Celeste, because it's very difficult to find Celeste. At least I find it difficult to find her. So his yard has this little project that he's working on. There's a craft DIY desk here, and an electronics kit and some fuel and different things and a server and all sorts of different things here. He's working on this space lander thing that's some type of a project for maybe one of his alien friends. And then these are those purple flowers that you can see from the look off behind Nook's Cranny. And so I just put an assortment of different purple flowers, and when it was all purple flowers, it just seemed like a little bit too much. So I interrupted the purple flowers with white mums every here and there. And I also put a couple of patches of these little brick patches and put some lights back here too, so that it looks a little bit more inviting in the evenings. And that just kind of breaks up the space a little bit. I did all that terraforming up in the background, and the terraforming that I did back there was mostly based on this. So I would go do some terraforming and then come here and look at how it looks, and then go do some more, plant some trees and come back and look at it again until I got it looking the way that I wanted it to look. I just wanted to have lots of height back there, and that's why those balloons are back there. So if you hop across here, you come to my school, which I really want to show you. I love my school. I used to have an outdoor school, and I do have a video of that. I haven't been sharing my videos. Oh look, there's lots of items here that don't belong here. But I have this little pathway that leads to my house, just to give you a bit of perspective for where we're at. Here's another rock that doesn't belong there. This is a little pathway that leads to my house, so here we are where we started again. And I have my money trees and a variety of different fruit trees, and you can hop across here, and this brings you to the space beside my Nook's Cranny and Able Sisters. It's not really a space. I mean, I put stuff here. I call this, because you see the edge of this terraformed area here, I call this Mushroom Mountain. And because I just kind of decorated it with a bunch of mushrooms and mushroom themed things. Oops, am I going to be able to? There we go. Just because you can see it from certain vantage points, so I wanted it to be decorated in some way. But I don't really go over here all that much. So mostly in this corner we have my school. So the school is Scott's house, and I'll just walk you through it. I don't know if it'll be quickly, because we're already 22 minutes into this video. I don't think I'd do anything quickly. But this is the main entrance of the school, where you have the school secretary, and I would assume that the principal's office is somewhere nearby, although I don't actually have a principal's office. We have a little common computing area here, like just a bank of computers that students can use. We have a trophy case with some extra trophies on top as well as inside. And then in here, we have a little student lounge area with some pennants on the walls and a music box, like a boom box, drink machine, some couches and homework and book stacks and that sort of thing. And then again, this is where the secretary would work. Let's go into this classroom over here. I can't remember the layout. It's been too long since I've been in this place. So over here we have an art classroom, and I envision this as being for smaller kids. And so a lot of these items are taken almost directly from what was my outdoor school area. It's just all indoors now. I tried to put exit signs on each of the doors, just like you would in a real school. A fun little cuckoo clock in that room because it's a children's classroom. And then over across the hall here, we have, well, I think we have a lecture hall of some sort, maybe a science classroom. Yeah, this is my art history lecture room. And so you can sit here and listen to a lecture by Professor No-Head. And there's a more adult-looking exit sign there. Then let's check out the classroom way back here. I think this is the science classroom. Yes, it is. So we have all sorts of science equipment and books and beakers and whatnot in this room. My upstairs and downstairs, I'm not 100% happy with, but I will show you them anyways. So upstairs is a cafeteria. And so we just have, these are hats that are custom designs that I found online. This one looks like a pizza, a hamburger, and tacos. I'm not too sure that the tacos and pizza really look like what they're supposed to look like, but I tried. I didn't make them there. I just found them online, but I think that they make reasonable food. Food is coming to the game, so as soon as it does, I will be replacing these. So what we have here is like a lineup. I have, these are, in theory, these are students in their school uniforms lined up to order their pizza. We have a little chef back there, another student standing here. We have some lockers and some vending machines here as well. And then the basement is really not really a thing, but I'll show you what I've put down here. I couldn't decide. So it's kind of half two things. So I thought it would be fun to make the basement be a gym. So I made I used the spectator wallpaper here. And I think that this would make a really fun, maybe basketball court or something like that. But then I also thought that the basement might make a good, place where the theater kids hang out and have like some extra props and some extra school supplies, almost like kind of like the basement of the school, and maybe / theater stuff. But I didn't really see either of those ideas through to fruition. So that's my school, and now you have seen all of my main level, and now I'll take you up to the second level of my island. My daughter is just doing the dishes, if you can hear smashing and booming. Actually, oh, look at Octavian doing his zoomies. He's so cute. Actually, you haven't seen all of the main level. We also have this area here, which is behind resident services. So here we are again at resident services where we've been before. You can go behind here and there's this little festival music area with a design on the ground, and then there's this little park bench with some flowers that lead to this little kids playground area. There's really nothing over here, but there are some new carnival type of things coming to the game, so I might put those here. Like there's a Ferris wheel and a few other things. And then this is just like a little vignette, like just a little decorated area, decorated section. So let's go up these brick steps to one of my neighborhoods. So let's go over this way first. This is Deirdre's house. It's actually Deirdre's birthday today, so they're probably celebrating in there, a couple of villagers along with her. And I wanted this area to have a real suburban residential kind of feel. So I made the houses so that you could see them in the distance, like from here, for example, you can see the corner of that house over on the right, as well as a house in behind. There's some kind of decorative items. This is Anka's little place where I just put her picture because she was a resident that I used to have that moved out. And now this is like my high-end neighborhood. This is the fancy neighborhood. This is Audie. She's doing some exercises outside of her house. I'm gonna have to bump her in order to make her move out of my way. She's just doing some toe touches. But as you can see, everything up here is just a little bit fancier. We've got statues. We have this stone pathing. This is in-game pathing. A beautiful marble fountain. I just put the jail bars back there for a little bit of extra height. And the idea is that maybe this is a bit of a gated community. And that that farming piece, that silo, is part of the house beside it. That's kind of set down. It's sunken down a little bit. So this is Zell's house. And he has this fancy chessboard out in front of his house. And then this is Audie's house. Audie is beautiful, isn't she? She's a wolf. And there you go. Over here we have a little alleyway that has some trash and a generator, and then up here we have a little cafe, a little rooftop cafe. Looks down upon the museum. And this has been on my island for a while, but a recent addition is that I put a tree here. I put the tree in my rooftop cafe because it looks better from the bottom with the tree there. And what's below there is my, you're not going to be able to see it, but it is my little pottery area and my little garden center that you saw. So this would be the backdrop for that, those waterfalls and whatnot. So that's my fancy neighborhood. Then we have Deirdre's cottage here that is nestled in here. She has her own little waterfall here. It's not all that decorated, but she does have a little seating area out beside the waterfall. And then we have Dom's house, and Dom is a farmer, so he has a couple of silos up behind him. Again, those jail bars are there for height. And what I do is I just put a simple panel behind that has lattice and vines on it, just so that you're not looking at sky, so you've got something to kind of see behind those jail bars. So Dom here has a pumpkin patch. As you can see, it's kind of covered by the tree, but when I pull up my inventory you can see it. And then there's just all harvest things here, so a fruit basket and a seed bag and some harvested pumpkins. And then Dom, of course, he has a rainbow theme, and so he has this little lounger with the rainbow pillow on it. So that's Dom's house. Dom has a pretty big yard, as does Judy. Now this is my little private beach that is not finished. I was gonna do a bit of a rainforest theme through here, like a rainforesty park. But I haven't really had enough time to really think about it. But Judy also has a really large yard with these beautiful doilies. Of course, she's got an extra flower growing here that I will just dig out. So Judy, of course, is very pastel-y, so I terraformed and planted trees and put a balloon and stuff behind her yard, so her cottage would look like it's nestled in amongst the woods here. I used that simple panel to put a little bit of interest behind that tree, and lots of pink items. Basically anything pink and pastel that I could find, I added to her yard here. Whoops, I'm trying to dig out this, not that one. That's what I meant to get rid of. that extra pink. This yard will be totally taken over with pink flowers if I allow it to. So my intention here was just to have a variety of different pink flowers everywhere. So I've got tulips, mums, roses, windflowers. I guess the only thing I'm missing here is I don't have any cosmos. I'll have to go get some. Oh, I even have a tulip, a pink tulip record player there. I love her yard. And I especially love taking pictures from the bridge, but beside her yard. I really spent a lot of time thinking about the sight lines from different places so that I could take lots of pictures on this island. So many of these, so this green balloon here is the balloon that you see off in the distance when you're looking through those purple flowers off in the distance behind the Nook's Cranny shop. Now across the bridge here, we have Zucker's house. And I wanted Zucker's yard to have a real overgrown feel to it with lots of bamboo plants and bamboo trees up behind him as well, and weeds anywhere that I could fit them. And so you can't really see everything in his yard because of the fact that I wanted it to look so crowded. So now you have seen, I think, everything up here. And now I do have one more area to show you. So back past here, past my museum, we've got another little utility closet-y type of area here. And then I'm gonna walk back through my forest park area. Now I do plan to put something on this little island that's in the forest here. I just haven't put anything on it yet. Maybe a little park bench and some fencing or something kind of generic. I do like to have little islands that are inhabited by gnomes, so I might put a little, the little wood stove, the little black wood stove with the pipe on it, not the pipe, the chimney, and make a little gnome area there. I do have another gnome island that I'll show you in a second. So we're gonna go past Felicity's house and past Marina's house. And the one area that I haven't shown you quite yet is up here. This is Raymond's estate. It looks like Raymond is home. Let's go say hello. Hello, Raymond. Let's talk. Maybe I need to get him a pillow. So I love Raymond's house. I love how it's themed like an office building. I don't know why his certificate is so high on the wall there. But I adore Raymond and I adore his house. Yeah, so again, I spent some time thinking about the sight lines from like behind Raymond's house. I wanted it to look kind of interesting and nice from all different angles. So right here in the foreground, we have lots of beekeeping stuff with some beekeepers' hives or whatever you call those things. That's a wasp, not a bee. I think that's a wasp, that model. From Flick, I put a little honeycomb there from a tree that I shook and got a wasp's nest. Now, you're not supposed to go behind Raymond's house, but I will show you how it looks back there. It's basically a little bit of a collection area. It's all weeds. I haven't weeded it for a while, but it's where I keep all of my green mums that just keep multiplying, which is, you know, kind of nice. I did pick a green mum here while I was out, so I'll just put it back right here. And you can't really see this stuff from any angle, so it's just kind of my place where I dump things. I've got some like trees here that I might dig up and put someplace else. And then Raymond has this lakeside estate where he has a little lake, and I already told you that I do enjoy decorating islands with gnomes. So these gnomes here are having a little picnic on the island beside Raymond's house. I just love that. And you can go all the way around this little lake. Have it all decorated. There is a little fossil there. And you can sit on this little bench here and see the little bridge off in the background. This is my island that is very specifically designed for taking photos on. So whenever somebody wants to come and visit me, even though this is not my main island, I usually invite them over to this island because it's nicer. So I think that that's it. Every time I film one of these videos, as soon as I stop filming, I realize there's a massive area that I forgot to show. But I don't think that's the case this time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I showed you everything. I don't really have any finished beach areas, so there's nothing really to look at here. I just have random things plopped on my beaches. They're not really done, and I do have to pick up these items. I don't know who they're for. I'll have to think about why they're there. So anyhow, thank you for joining me on this fairly long tour of my island. Take care and have a great week.